The Talking Cheeseheads on cheeseheadtalk.com.
So Bud Selig made some comments last week in the wake of the biogenesis Ryan Braun, Alex Rodriguez, and 18 to 23 other player scandal that is in our midst and could take a few months at least to settle out. And he talked about how proud he is of the game and that this is proof that baseball will not tolerate steroids and that he's still going after performance-enhancing drugs. And I should delineate between steroids and performance-enhancing drugs, which is what I'll do here because it's not really steroids anymore. We'll get to that in a minute. But Bud, came out and said, this is what we're doing. This is why we're the best. This is why we're the toughest. This is why we're going after these guys. And my thought in response to that is maybe the old guy is going a little wingbats, right? Maybe he's just gripping a little too tight right now. You got to let go a little bit, Bud. And I say that, I understand how that might sound, that I, don't care if guys are using PEDs and I don't care about the integrity of the game. Well, to answer your question, the first question, yeah, I don't probably care too much if guys are using PEDs. I don't think other people really care too much either, to tell you the truth. That's kind of the impression I'm getting. Do I care about the integrity of the game? Yeah, I do. But the integrity of the game has always been a little bit challenged, has it not? For a while you wouldn't let a whole race of people and beyond play. For a while you had greenies and all these other things that were going on to help guys get through the ridiculousness of a 162-game season, which is ridiculous, and they need some help a lot of times. So now Bud Selig, commissioner of baseball, is going after everybody, anybody and everybody as much as he can. And my thought on this is there another commissioner out there or a future commissioner in baseball who would do the same thing? And I don't think so. I don't think so. And the reason why is because it's kind of stupid. Okay? I mean, let's be honest. It's a little bit stupid. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for guy test positive for too much testosterone or any other banned substance. That's fine. I got no problem with that. You want to suspend them, take them through the process, that's absolutely fine. The problem is, right now, you're associating yourself as baseball. Think of the lengths the commissioner's office is going to here. You're getting a guy who is the sleaziest of sleazeballs, Tony Bosch, right, to flip. And you're doing so by coercing testimony out of him because you basically, if he didn't squeal against all these players, you were going to take his entire life and throw it away. And now you're not only protecting him against Major League Baseball action, you're also apparently powerful enough to protect him against federal action, although I don't know how that's necessarily possible, but that's apparently what's been promised to him. And so that stinks. That really smells bad, right? It reeks. Not good. And you're doing this and you're going to pay other people off for their testimony. Don't you just want to wring your hands from that? Doesn't it give you the ick factor feeling? And you're going to use it to suspend several big-name players and several not-so-big-name players, or at least try to suspend them. And what's it going to get you? People will argue with me sometimes. They'll say, well, baseball's different than football or basketball or even hockey, I guess, because numbers aren't as important in those sports. And that's true. Numbers are not as important in those sports, and they're different perceptions. We expect physical specimens to be in those other sports, or we don't necessarily expect that out of baseball. True. And solved in 2000, whatever it was, 7 or 8, when you basically took McGuire, Sosa, and Bonds, among a few others, out of the game and ruined their legacies, probably in a much-deserved fashion, for using anabolic steroids, looking like the Hulk, and distorting the game to the level they did. Yes. I think that, that's fine. And I think you had fans then. And I think they were happy. They said, okay, we're seeing testing come into the game. Good, harsh penalties, 50, 100 games, lifetime ban. And more importantly, the proof in the pudding. We're seeing the numbers come back to normal. This is no longer about the numbers. How could it be? Has Ryan Braun even threatened Major League records? Has he? No. A-Rod might be generally threatening the home run race, but he's not going to get there. Not even close. He's done. He's probably never going to play again. Or if he does, He's going to be a shell of himself and not even come close. So, you did it, Bud. You got it done. Whether it took congressional action or a great collective bargaining agreement or whatever the circumstances are, it's done. You don't have to continue to ruin the stars in your sport and go after people like this and make fans forget about the game and only think about who's juicing and who's not. You don't have to do that anymore. It's over. So why are you continuing? You really on that much of a crusade? Don't you see what you're doing? I just don't get it. I don't get it. I know there's some columnists around the country who agree with me. I don't understand this. Again, it's not even about if Ryan Braun is guilty or not. I mean, my bet is yes. But what are you doing? What are you doing to all these guys? It makes no sense. Look at the way, again, football, basketball, these sports are going to work with their Players Association because the Players Association are going to be represented by players who don't want to have the threats that some of these things can provide as well. But trying to completely rid the game of performance-enhancing drugs is like literally trying to fight the drug war that our government tries to fight. How's that going? How's that working out right now? And for the last 30 years? Not too hot. Because there's always going to be somebody with this money involved that's going to be pushing the edge and cheating the system. And that's never going to go away. So the best you can do is keep testing, keep catching a guy every now and then, suspend him. The fans are going to be happy. You'll have a problem if the numbers get out of whack again, but they've been under control now. Really what, for the better part of a decade since you instituted testing. Duh. It worked. Let it go. Life's so much easier if you just let go a little bit. I don't know how much longer Bud Selig is going to be commissioner, but, you know, this is affecting legacy, but he's holding on too tight now. Yeah, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on that, but come on now. That's it. You know, we don't need this anymore. We need to focus on the game and the young stars and the stars and not worry so much about this. Yeah, guys are using, but it's not like it was. To me, this is common sense. But until Bud Selig actually retires, whenever the hell that's going to be, because he's kind of like Brett Favre in that sense, isn't he? It's going to keep going. We're the Talking Cheeseheads. You can find us on iTunes. Download our entire podcast every day. We're there with you. iTunes.com, or I should just go to iTunes and type in the Talking Cheeseheads. Our Twitter handle's @CheeseheadTalks, and we're on Facebook, Facebook.com/Talking Cheeseheads. I'm Ben Larson. We're the Talking Cheeseheads on CheeseheadTalk.com.
The Talking Cheeseheads on CheeseheadTalk.com.